Welcome back to Artscape. I'm your host, Bill Harris, and we're here with Tracey Clarke. Tracey, I was on your website, and I see your paintings, or your website is really titled New Mythology. Right. So all your paintings are new mythology. Describe that.
Well, what I do with new mythology, so I create these paintings, and I also write short narratives to go with the paintings that are not super descriptive, but they're just enough to kind of give you a little bit of a taste of what might be going on. I really like people to kind of enter into that and come up with their own thoughts about it and what they think is going on. And they're only bits and pieces. So I had people say to me, "Why don't you write a book?" And I don't want it to be a cohesive.
Right.
It's just glimpses and bits and pieces. And I love pairing those images with words and descriptives like that.
Because it is sort of loose enough where you sort of interpret it your own way. Do you remember any of, sort of roughly, would you remember the? They're really interesting, and they're on your website. If you go to the website, click on your paintings.
Yeah, well, I do have, there's a Bird War, this kind of series that I've sort of started doing. It's ongoing, and Diamond behind you is part of this Bird War, so these two factions of birds, and he's kind of the instigator of this big feud that goes on.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit about that, and anyway, he's kind of the ringleader, I suppose. Of
yeah, I think that's interesting. I think that really takes people into a different area that they otherwise wouldn't see. We talked about sort of the darkness in some of your paintings in the last segment. Tell me about this one right here behind me. That's one of your newer ones. It's not on your website right yet. One of the things that jumps out at me right away at it is his eyes open and the reflection, and it's closed. Yes.
Well, mice in the new mythology kingdom are prophets. Okay. So I haven't written the narrative for that yet, but that's kind of the basis for that painting is they're prophets, or they have some sort of foretold coming in the kingdom. So and that one too, that one also is, that guy over there is a prophet as well, that mouse. So
you know, it's interesting, and we noticed this hanging the show a little bit ago, that really light or really dark. Like, for example, the one right behind you there, the lamb, the geese, and the hummingbirds, really white. And I know, being an artist, that's a really difficult painting to do. It's really difficult to pull that off, get all the tonal changes in just white. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that one. That's
a new painting as well. That's part of the kind of a new direction for new mythology. But I'm not sure. I think he's going to be a king or a prince of some sort.
The lamb.
Yeah. With his court there.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Do you think that a lot of times people, when they see your work, they miss that? Like, they maybe look at it and they see, okay, there's a lamb or there's a deer. I mean,
yeah, particularly with that painting, people aren't sure what that is. It's interesting to hear people say what they think that is. It's actually fish eggs. I've heard all kinds of different.
That's interesting.
It is interesting.
I bet if a lot of go, it's a rocket ship taking off. Right?
Yeah, or why are his legs bleeding? Things like that.
So why are they fish eggs?
Well, she's the shepherdess of all fish life.
Okay.
So she's kind of the source of fish life.
And what's interesting is the little stars around it almost look like bullet holes, too.
Yeah, they do, don't they?
Yeah, almost like she's in target.
I also never noticed that either. Those are actually her thoughts. So.
When the people say that, you're supposed to just nod your head and say, okay, that's fine.
Right.
Let them interpret it.
I love to hear that, though.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I got to tell you a funny story. These two paintings behind me were at Liberty Town back in the fall, I believe, and I teach an oil painting class there in a room that's adjacent to the gallery. My students kept going out, looking at these paintings, and say, "Wow, these are amazing! How do we do this?" I'm like, "Well, I don't know. I can't do that either." So anyway, you really put the screws to me a little bit for my class. So
good.
So good. So I'm going to read this off of your website, and it says, we talked about it a little bit before. It says, "Each painting begins in my mind with a word, a string of words, or a clear image that appears like a dream. I am an oil painter." Do you think of yourself as an oil painter, or do you think of yourself as an artist, or both?
I think of myself, I think I struggle sometimes with thinking of myself as an artist, to be honest with you. But I am an artist,
Why is that?
I don't know. I think a lot of artists struggle with saying that. Do
you think that comes from you know, I think people look at artists and think, well, that can't be what you really do. That must be something you do on the side.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that can't be a real job.
Right.
But in reality, locally, here it is. And, you know, there's a lot of artists like...
I go off and I get a song stuck in my head, and then I'm not really focusing on the work. But there's a band from Texas called Shearwater that I really love to listen to. Their music is really ethereal and...
yeah, that's what I was sort of getting at. I was wondering if the music sort of matched the paintings.
I try to stick with stuff that's maybe not clear. The vocals aren't very clear. I kind of try not to get, you know what I mean? To stay in that zone where...
Right. I often notice when I'm painting, I put music on that I really like, and then I don't even hear it. It just kind of...
Yeah.
I notice when it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, where do you see yourself going in, like, let's say 5-10 years? Do you think? I mean, is it hard to say? How do you see your art changing?
It's hard to say. I mean, I'm really happy and satisfied with the kind of work I'm doing now, as far as the new mythology. But I mean, who knows? Yeah. Right. I mean.
Yeah. Think it'll always be animals?
From where I am now, yeah, I think it will always be animals.
Yeah.
It's just what I love to paint. So.
Now, you had said that each painting takes about a couple months to do, right?
Some take longer.
Yeah. How many paintings do you work on at the same time?
See, I have probably 4 or 5 right now that I'm kind of rotating that are thematic like this, the new mythology. So, yeah.
Right. Why do you do that? Why do you work on 4 or 5 at once?
Because sometimes the detail work gets very tedious, and so I need a break from that. I need to work a little bit broader. So I'll go to something that's maybe, you know, I'm still putting kind of the underpainting in, and it's a little bit looser. So that helps.
You know, it's interesting, as we were talking at the break, one of the big influences for you was Van Gogh. It's interesting. I don't think most people would look at this and see that, but tell us what you were telling me.
Well, it's not necessarily artistically he's a big influence for me, but personally, just his story and his life, and I really resonate with a lot of things that he dealt with, like depression and things like that. So, but when what's interesting to me, you were talking about seeing dark elements or elements of struggle. And when I look at his work, that's what I see. I see a lot of darkness and a lot of pain underneath his work, and I just pick up on it in ways that I don't pick up on maybe other impressionistic paintings, you know?
Yeah, even paintings like sunflowers, you sort of pick up a darkness.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, that's interesting, because I don't think most people would look at your work and see that influence, but now that you say that, I could sort of see that, sort of that theme run through.
Yeah.
We're going to take one more break. We're going to come back with Tracey Clarke. We'll be right back with Artscape.